Hello everyone, today I'm showing off my Retro Dark Angels force. This is the first video of this kind, so let me know what you guys like to see in the future hobby-wise. Leading the force is Captain Tigrin of the 6th Company, and he's honestly one of my favorite models in the entire army. There's just so much about the old Captain models that feel so special. But I think it's mostly from all the little bits of detail. Here's one of the sergeants. He still needs a banner, which if you've noticed is a recurring problem throughout the army. One day they'll get their nice banners, probably, but I'm really happy with how he turned out. And here's one of the old sergeants. If you can tell, he is a little bit shinier through the pauldron, and that's one of the things I really like about the newer squads I've done. The army itself is made up of 4 combat squads, 2 with flamers, 2 with missile launchers, and it's always fun to use the template weapons. We've also got the Rhino transport still waiting on its banners, of course, but I absolutely love the 2 different decals on the front panels. Makes the vehicle feel very unique. We've also got the 6th Company insignia, along with it being the first vehicle of that company. To round out this Space Marine force, we have a land speeder. This is a hunk of metal, so if anyone has one that they're planning on building, I would highly recommend pinning it. It will make your life a lot easier. The last thing this guy needs is to finish the Chaos helmet on his base. It just needs its trim done up as well as its horns. And we got this guy up here. He's going to be our example on how I paint up my Dark Angels. This guy does have a more modern flamethrower. I had to cut the hand and attach it with green stuff, but I do think it fits the RTB01 style surprisingly well, which brings us to one of the true classics of the hobby, the RTB01 Plastic Space Marines. The RTB01 Imperial Space Marine box set was released in October 1987 and was sold for $15 in the United States or $9.95 in the UK. This kit allowed hobbyists to build their own squads of Space Marines. The miniatures were designed by Bob Nadesmith, Jez Goodwin, and Allie Morrison. While hugely influential, the RTB01 Marines were not Citadel's first plastic multi-part Warhammer kit. That distinction belongs to the Citadel Skeleton Army, which debuted in 1986. The RTB01 box offered a degree of customization. The components attached to the arms using a loose ball and socket joint system. This system allowed for people to easily customize their models. Here we got our unpainted Dark Angel with a flamethrower. We'll be priming him up today with a black Vallejo airbrush primer. And then for our first layer, we'll go all over. We'll be using a black green from Vallejo. And then for our second layer, we'll be using a deep green, and we will just be doing that from the top to add some highlights. After letting those layers dry, we can see the gradient between them. It is a very light gradient, but from here what we're going to do is take some of our black and fill in the flamer as well as a few dots on his shoulder pauldron. Now taking our deep green, we're going to add some highlights, first starting out with the pauldron, very carefully trying to use the edge of the brush, just pull it across towards us. We will also take that deep green again and do it over top of the eye lenses, as well as picking out a few other areas such as the knuckles and doing the backplate as well. After picking out a bunch more highlighting, here's how he's looking. Got the knuckles, the beak, as well as a bunch of other spots done. With all the highlighting done, it's time to work on the eye lenses, so I went back to black and blacked in those 2 lens slots, as well as grabbed a bunch of different reds. Here's how it looks with it all done. I just layered reds on top of each other, smaller and smaller, and then added a little bit of orange wash right underneath the lens. After letting that dry, I added in those 2 white dots, just using pure Vallejo white. For the colors for highlighting the flamethrower, we're going to use gray-green, as well as dark sea gray. With the gray-green, we're going to make some chunkier highlights and going around picking out a few different areas. Pick out the barrel to add a little non-metallic flare to it, as well as a few of the gizmos around on the flamer. Adding in the dark sea gray, we're going to go into a lot of those chunkier highlights and do just little smaller ones, especially on the barrel, add a little non-metallic to it, as well as a few other spots all around the flamer. And I know I mentioned non-metallic, but we are going to take a metallic. It's going to be gunmetal gray, and pick out the nozzle of the flamer, as well as picking out all the little dots on his shoulder pauldron. With all those metallics done, as well as the body of the flamer done, all I really have left to do is the fuel tank on the flamer, and for that we're going to use dark blue, as well as a 50-50 mix of dark blue and white for the highlights. With the Dark Angel all done, we're going to pick out a decal for his shoulder pauldron. We're going to grab a white Dark Angel's insignia to keep him in line with the rest of the infantry. It is a little hard to see here, but that just means it's going to pop on our Dark Angel all the more. Now grabbing our microsol and microset, the most important things for making decals look good, we're going to use our microset first. We're going to put a healthy amount onto his pauldron and just rub it all over and make sure to cover every part of it. Now grabbing our decal I soaked in water briefly, we're just going to slowly swipe it off and pick it up with the brush. Now we take it over to our marine and we apply it to the shoulder pauldron where the microset was. We'll fight with this a little bit, we just gotta roll it around till it's fully on there. And then from there it's just poking and swiping it around till it looks nice, and that'll just take a minute or two. Now on to using microsol. We're going to apply 2 different layers of this. We're going to dip our brush in there and try to very, very carefully put it on there without moving the emblem around too much. Now to apply our matte varnish. We're going to apply it liberally all over the shoulder pauldron to help hold down the decal so it doesn't lift up. Once we finish up that matte varnish, that means the body of our marine is entirely done. And now to finish him up, we gotta do our base. So I'm gonna grab my tub of basing sand that I got from a baseball park. I did bake this sand to kill anything that would be inside of it. Now to get all that sand to stick, we're gonna add 2 bits of glue to the base. This is just Elmer's school glue. I got it at the dollar store. After applying those 2 bits, I'm going to grab a old ratty brush. You don't want to use any new brushes because it will ruin them. We're just going to spread around that glue all over the base, trying not to get any on the foot or the flamer. Some inevitably will get on the foot. We'll grab our X-Acto knife later to remove any that might be stuck to it. Now we're going to take our base and get ready to dunk him into the sand. When we dunk him in there, we're going to put him all the way down to the bottom and shake him around to get all the fine bits of sand, and then make sure to tap the bottom to knock off any bits of excess sand. From here, we're going to get a look around to see if any got on his foot. A little bit did, so we're going to grab our X-Acto knife to remove it all. And once we have that all cleaned up, we'll put away our tub of sand. Grab our black paint and just paint his rim entirely black. And with that, we just gotta let him dry and our marine is entirely finished. Now I know I glazed over how to do eye lenses, so if you'd like to see a more in-depth tutorial, go check out Goblin Green 21. His link will be in the description. He shows it a lot better than I can. I'd also like to thank Minisodes and Miniscape for being a massive inspiration for this video and hopefully videos to come. Let's add the last marine to this force. And with that, that's a solid Dark Angels army. Thank you guys for watching. Any advice, feel free to leave it in the comments. Till next time.